Keep your socks on. Are your feet warm? Well, if they sweaty, take them off, babe.
Yeah,
Excellent. Let's do this. And thank you for agreeing to join me today. I'm really excited to chat with you, get to know you a little bit more. You were nice enough to jump on a couple months ago and sort of hold my hand through a lot of important things, and I've been better off for it. So happy again to have the chance to chat with you, Ciara Rayne. Let's go. I'm so sorry.
You could just call me Ciara.
Okay, and it's Ciara. I've been saying that wrong. Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed, Ciara.
No, that's fine.
Cool, love your face.
Ciara or Rayne, whichever is easier.
Ciara. Cool, Ciara. Well, so the idea here is that I want to introduce a lot of my favorite leftist friends to my audience, and then, of course, to the greater audience. I'm going to be posting it on YouTube after a day or so, so I'll link you to that, and I'm excited to get going here. So what I'd like to do is just start off really quickly talking about your pathway into leftism. How did you get to a place where you recognized that capitalism is the problem that cannot be reformed and is one of the central issues in our world, in addition to the intersectional issues that we also have to deal with?
For me, it was like a multifaceted thing. You know, I grew up poor. You know, my mom and dad got divorced twice. And I bounced around a lot of schools, a lot of different houses. My mom had problems with like alcoholism and being abusive when I was younger. So, you know, we were pretty good off until the time I was about 10. And then, you know, things kind of went wrong there. My father was in law enforcement, and he left the force when I was born, mainly because he actually had to draw his weapon and got into a bit of a firefight. Not much of one, but, you know, I was too young to remember because I wasn't, you know, born yet. But the way my mother tells the story is that he was on duty, had to be at work. She was in the hospital with me, and he got into a bit of a shootout and decided that he wanted to be there for me, and he quit. He quit the force. So he passed away quite some time ago. And so, and it was, I think there were bits and pieces. You know, one, we were sort of a well-off family, and then we weren't. Two is my dad and I lived in a homeless shelter for 14 months because after the second divorce, my mom stopped paying for the house, and my dad and I got evicted. And I think it was also one of my first engagements with law enforcement. One of my dad's former partners showed up to evict us and walked back to his cruiser laughing.
What?
Yeah. And then after that, my dad and I lived in government housing off of little to no money, just a couple $100 a month. And, you know, my dad was slightly darker skinned than I am. You know, I'm also a light skinned native. Like my uncle Lasso. And, you know, after law enforcement, my dad got into computers and technology. And then for me, I dropped out of high school and got a GED because high school was very, very difficult, especially being trans and gay and not knowing it really so much at the time. And, you know, I was one of those kids that I had nothing else. So I joined the military. You know, and, you know, what else was I going to do? So, I graduated, not graduated. I dropped out of high school, got a GED, joined the United States Navy, at 18 and left. So I was in for about 5 years. I am a honorably discharged disabled veteran.
Okay.
And it was being
I'm
in
sorry.
the military and
Yeah.
then coming out the other side of it too.
Were you disabled while serving?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I got hurt.
I'm sorry to hear that. That's awful to hear.
Yeah,
It's just one of
almost
the
died twice.
it's one of those things that like it's this sort of like this untold cost of our military that you don't hear about these things. Like my partner's cousin in training like lost half his hearing because someone fucked up. Like you don't hear about these things.
No, you don't.
So I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I don't normally talk about it, and I probably won't today. But I got hurt twice.
I don't want to pry.
And it put me in a situation where my back is like permanently damaged, and my lungs are permanently messed up. So if you hear me like gasping for air at times, it's because like it's just difficult to breathe, and I cough a lot. So, but damn it. And so I think like it was I guess I'm like walking intersectionality, because it was growing up not well off with parents that were divorced, living in a homeless shelter, living in government housing, not living off a lot of money. Basically, being forced into a situation where my only opportunities were the military, to join the military. And I believed, I believed the BS, right? I joined the military because I thought that I was going to save lives and fight bad guys, right? So, because that's what they tell you. So, turns out we're kind of the bad guys.
Are we the baddies?
Yeah. Are we the baddies? A little, yeah. And it messes with your whole worldview too when you find out,
Yeah, it really does. It really does. And you would point to your military experience as having been the formative thing that tipped you off. Hey, this is a problem over here.
There was a bunch of other stuff that led up to it, but I would say being in the military and then coming out, having, left the military really pushed. And, my dad would have been like a Lincoln Project or a log cabin Lincoln Project Republican.
Yeah.
So, he would not have been happy with the current Republican Party. But I was a registered Republican.
Wow.
For a while.
Okay.
Long time.
You're canceled. Chill's over. We're done with this. Wrap it up.
Never voted though. Never voted. Yeah. First time I voted was actually the 2016 election. That was the first time I voted. Wow. I was a registered Republican that thought my vote didn't matter. Never knew why I stayed as a registered Republican, because I kept not liking them. I guess it was more just for my dad than anything.
Yeah.
And, like 2016 is obviously a little late in life. I'm 37. But 2016 was like, and I voted for Hillary, which I guess is also bad, cancelable too. But, what else was I supposed to do back then? I sure in the hell wasn't voting for Trump.
It's electoralism. Yeah. What are you going to do?
Yeah, it was electoralism, right? I was like, what am I going to do? So, I voted for Hillary. And then I got even more engaged after that. And again, it was like, it was the military, it was being a veteran, it was being, homeless, living off of government housing. And then, it was being somebody that was light-skinned indigenous, and everything that brought with it. And then, of course, finding out that I was trans, which, is not to say that I wasn't and then became. I mean, I always was. It was just like it had been, repressed, right? So, and, a lot of other things too. Like I'm a victim of sexual assault. I'm a victim of domestic abuse. I've been a victim of a home invasion too.
Oh my gosh.
I have had to draw weapons on people. Thankfully, I've never had to hurt anybody. So, um, had law enforcement involved a few times. It's been interesting. We, real quick, funny story. We had a lady here where I live who was stealing lawnmowers to sell the parts.
That's
So
that's a
yeah,
grift. That's a you got to do what you got to do. It's some sort of it's a
I
job.
mean,
She works hard
I
for the
would,
money.
I would, yeah, I wouldn't call that working on the grindstone or anything like that. But so that was that was kind of a funny thing. So like, yeah, that's kind of been a like super long-winded response, but then
It's
again,
fine.
it's like a super long-winded like road to
Hmm.
where I'm at now versus where I used to be. And yeah,
Right.
so
One thing I was struck by was you mentioned how you sort of you had like ups and downs where you had times where I think maybe it's unfair to say. Let me know if I'm saying it incorrectly. Where
mm,
your family was more financially stable, and then you experienced periods where that was not the case. I think that's honestly one of the biggest things that can show people, hey, this fucking system doesn't work. It's not broken. It's designed to be this way,
yeah,
and it needs to be fixed, despite it not exactly being broken. We need to fix it. And I think that's sort of one of those things that can really help for some people to figure that out. Is going through it. It's so sad that
yeah.
that has to be the case sometimes. Breaks your heart. Hey, let's move along. I'd like to ask you sort of what big projects you're working on right now. In Where are they now? What are you up to now? What are your big projects? What are your big things?
Oh, a couple things.
Yeah.
I'm worried about putting them together, but one of those is I am back to streaming,
Right.
um, but I'm not doing politics,
Uh-huh.
and I'm also
Okay.
not doing like panels anymore.
Yeah. Fuck a panel.
um, yeah, panel stuff is just it's toxic and it's dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
The people that are platformed that shouldn't be.
Oh my
That's my
gosh.
opinion. The
Yep.
panel space is also filled with like men who don't listen to women, and particularly straight men, and a large majority of straight white men that don't want to listen to people,
Mm-hmm.
which gets annoying after a while. So
Can only
I
imagine.
am back to streaming. I've been streaming Elite Dangerous and Star Citizen. Probably going to work on some projects for the stream. The two big things is that I am working with Riverboat Jack,
Right.
and another friend of mine on a tabletop role-playing game. So we're hoping to kickstart that in a few months.
The fuck out of here. That sounds great.
Yeah,
Holy
Jack
shit.
is absolutely amazing. And I am blessed to, Boxer, I designed the game. the tabletop RPG that Jack and I are working on. I'm actually the creative director. I'm the one that designed it. I brought Jack on for her creative capability and her writing. So Jack is now our theme and story. She's our world building lead. So it's right now it's only 3 people. The team was a little bit bigger, but people had to leave because COVID and life and everything.
That's fun.
So that's one big thing. Jack and I
Yeah.
are working on that. Another friend of mine, which doesn't stream or anything, my friend Mike, is
From PA?
No,
Is he from PA?
no,
All
he's
right.
from Ohio.
All right.
A
Pretty
Mike
close,
from
though.
Ohio. That's another veteran and
Sus.
works as a locksmith and wants nothing to do with any of what we're doing.
Smart guy.
So yeah, he's in his mid 40s and he doesn't have the time for any of this crap. So, but
It's sad that I do. Yeah.
yeah, it is kind of Well, no, I'm okay that you brought up redacted from redacted. Anyway,
I like that.
because I have some opinions of redacted from redacted.
Yeah.
And they're not good. None of them are good. Being that he's a cishet white dude that thinks he's all powerful and all important. Anyway,
none of my homies like redacted from redacted.
Good, I'm glad.
Beautiful.
So
Yeah.
and then the other thing is I had been thinking about running for office.
Right.
So, I kind of can't normally mix the two, but since I'm
Yeah.
not running right now, it's fine.
Okay.
Like if I was actually on the campaign trail, then I couldn't mention my RPG and like vice versa. Because you can't do that, right? It's not okay. But right now, since it's just testing the waters, and I'm not actually gone for any petitions or anything, it's okay to talk about like what I'm thinking of doing.
Yeah.
And originally the idea was I wanted to run for Senate. Well, no one knows who I am, and can I really raise like the average cost of a successful senatorial campaign for 2020 was like $10.9 million. Can I go from being a nobody to raising almost $11 million between now and next November to win a senatorial race when no one knows who I am without a miracle? No. So I kind of had to step back and be like, well, look at Pete Buttigieg. I don't like the man, but he went from mayor to transportation secretary.
Yeah.
So, I the mayoral race and the 2 at-large city council positions for the city I live in are open for re-election this year. I have until August, I think, to put in, so another 4 more months to make a decision. Though I need to be doing it much sooner than that. And then if I decide not to run this year, next year, the county seats are open for re-election, and it's deciding what's better for me. Like the town I live in is 55,000 people, but the county includes Dayton, Ohio, which is like almost 1 million. Am I going to get more Democrats at the city level or at the county level, right? Because if you live in Dayton, you can vote at county level, which, to vote for like the city council and mayoral races, you have to live in Kettering. And a city of 55,000 people, I don't know, how many Democrats and Republicans and how many of each actually go out and vote in the local elections, right? So there's a lot of like strategy and thought process to like, what do I want to run for and win? Because what gives me more? Either way, if I run for office and win, I'll be the first trans person elected to any office in Ohio. So, which I think would be kind of cool.
Fuck
yeah, that's kind of the stuff I've got going on right now.
That is really cool, and that's interesting. It sounds like your plans are evolving. You're looking at the material conditions on the ground, and your things are changing, and you're sort of going with the flow in that sense. Let me know how else I can stay updated on the progress that you're making there. Also with the game, that sounds cool. I don't have time for another game, but I honestly want to play. It sounds fun. So actually, this might tie into my next section of the show, or maybe you want to touch on the intersectional issues that we were discussing before. But in our next section, which is #BeBest, I would like for you to consider a younger version of yourself. Maybe you not being able to go and visit them through time, but maybe they're in the chat, or maybe we're going to be able to share something with them through our YouTube video that we post. What is something, if you had to pick maybe a shortcut, some shortcuts or some tips and tricks to give yourself or a younger version of yourself, what would you try to teach yourself, either about again, the intersectional issues, or this what you're doing now in your bid for an office seat, which is evolving. I'm really excited to hear about that. What would you do to teach yourself, or even maybe help yourself along the way to help Daddy Marks, please Daddy Marks a little bit sooner in our lives? I can think of a few things I would teach myself. What do you think? How can we help younger versions of us?
Well, I mean, that's a good question. For starters, I'm a libertarian socialist, so not a communist. Communists are cool, though. Communists are cool. Communists are allies. Communists are товарищ, comrade. Я поговорю по-русски, товарищ. Anyway, I would say that the only thing that matters is love. And using that to push your life and guide your life. And that is like caring about other people, caring about their plight. A lot of people hate when people talk about empathy. I believe in empathy. I believe it's a real thing. I believe that I have it. There are things that I can't watch without feeling the pain myself, which is like, I know sounds crazy, but it's like, I can't watch people going through things that they're hurting, because then I start to hurt.
Yeah.
And we can call that empathy. We can call that being a decent person. But I would say, like, live your life in a desire to love. And then also realize that you don't need to be perfect to be loved. I think it's really toxic that we tell people, like, well, you can't be loved unless you love yourself. Like, no, don't do that. Don't tell people that their worth is based entirely off of, like, their own ability to deal with, like, the things that they're dealing with. Like, don't tell people that their worth as a person is, like, based on whether they're mentally and emotionally healthy. But then also, like, temper that love too with, like, I don't want to say, like, anything even that remotely sounds religious or dumb or right wing, but temper it with, how do I put this? Dedication and devotion to seeing people's lives and material conditions improves, and then, basically the whole paradox, right? Don't tolerate intolerance, right? Because that is the paradox, right? Like, the paradox of tolerance, where the tolerant cannot tolerate the intolerant. And I guess, just to be a little corny or whatnot, I always try and push back to the love is what matters most. So, like, hashtag love wins. Just try to walk your life loving people, and wanting to do good and do better. And that includes, for yourself. And of course it includes, like, forgiveness, and if you can, like, you don't always have to forgive the people that have hurt you. I'm not saying that, but just, try to walk your life in love is the way that I've always tried to put, yeah. So, like, I guess that's it, really. Sorry.
No, sorry. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Thank you for recentering us here on the channel.
You're welcome.
That's beautiful.
You're welcome. Wootha.
That's good shit right there. That's going to be a good clip. Next up is the Leftist Inquisition. Are you ready, Ciara?
Let's do this.
All right. Ciara, what's your favorite word?
My favorite word. I just said it. Love.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed it. I cut out for just a second. I'm so sorry.
No. I
got this bad thing. Love. Yeah, you did say it. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Perfect. Ciara, what's your least favorite word?
Hate.
Okay, well, then I got to change the question that's coming up here. Okay. Next up, Ciara, what's your favorite drug? Define that any way you like.
Favorite drug? Ooh. My only vice is I'm a recovering alcoholic.
Okay.
So my thing is, like, alcohol tastes really, really, really good. And I enjoy it. And it's hard to not enjoy it and to not enjoy it too much. So, yeah, alcohol.
All right, next up. What sound or noise, other than the word love, do you love?
I love the sound of no sound during the winter. When the snow is on the ground, maybe the snow is falling. It might be dusk or nighttime, but I love what I like to call the sound of no sound, like the pristine silence that gives way to ambient noise when it's like it's winter and the snow is on the trees and the snow is on the grounds, and you get that, that kind of just ambient noise.
That's a good one.
That's what I love.
I
love just standing on the front porch during the winter and just listening to the pristine nothingness of the deep winter, the dark winter.
I live in a city, so like I never get quiet. It's never quiet over here. Whenever we have a chance to like get out and go somewhere else, it's like very quiet. You're like, whoa, it's beautiful. I love to be able to sleep in very quiet room. What's a sound or noise that you dislike the most?
The sound and noise I hear in my ears every day, unfortunately.
Oh no.
Tinnitus, yeah.
Oh, literally. Okay. I thought you were talking about like, your own voice. You're like, oh, fuck me.
Well, I mean that too. I also hate my voice. I despise my voice. It's the most dysphoric thing about me. But,
okay. I understand. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I have to like sleep with fans and stuff because it's this constant in my ears.
Okay.
Courtesy of Uncle Sam.
Oh no, I see now. Tinnitus. That sounds terrible.
Yes.
My gosh.
It sucks. Some days is better than others.
Really.
Which is another reason why I kind of love that experience during winter, because it kind of overpowers it.
Oh, nice.
So,
Ciara, do you have a favorite curse word? No slurs, please.
Well,
I just gotta be careful. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
I don't want to get banned.
My favorite curse word? No, but I love calling people numpties.
Numpties? Oh my god, what is that? I love it.
I don't know.
Awesome.
But I for some reason I just enjoy being like, when someone pisses me off, being like, you absolute numpty. Like, can you think? I don't so much. I mean, I would probably say my favorite curse word is like, shit.
Yeah. That's a good one.
And to the detriment of many, for example, my child, who's almost 9 now, when she was 2.5 years old, she was walking down the hallway in the house and she drops her toy on the floor. She looks at it and she goes, "Oh shit." And I'm like, "Oh no." Oh no.
There it is. Now I got to start pumping the brakes.
Yeah, I gotta hold back on that. Like, oh no.
Oh, shit. Yeah, right. The only thing you can say in response to this, oh shit, here we go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at 2.5 years old, to use it in the right context,
pretty good. Yeah.
So
pat on the back, actually. Congrats, kid. You're doing a good job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe they have a new favorite curse word. What, Ciara? Let's say you got the choice. They gave it to you. They're like, we want Ciara to do this. If you had the choice, who would you put on a new banknote?
On a new banknote?
Yeah. Who would you slap on there?
Okay, super hot spicy take?
Yeah.
Nobody, because we shouldn't idolize people.
I love it. That's fine. I'll allow it. So just like blank, huh? Just emptiness.
Yeah, maybe just like put the number on it. I don't know. I mean, maybe there's a few people that I would put on a new banknote, but like money's meaningless and worthless anyway. So like, why are we idolizing people on money? When we should be idolizing them for the things that they did. And so kind of a Kobayashi Maru there, like a no-win situation. A trick question.
I love it. I'll allow it, and I'm not mad. Ciara, what profession would you not like to attempt, other than professions you've done?
Being a cop.
Fuck cops. How do they do it? How do they do it every day? It blows my mind.
I don't know.
Yeah. Ciara, if you were reincarnated as some other plant or an animal, what would it be?
Oh, see, I'm going to have to disappoint you here and go out of that question and say, I want to be reincarnated as an isekai anime protagonist.
I have no idea what the fuck you just said.
So, isekai literally means otherworld, in Japanese. So like the animes and like that time I got reincarnated as a slime, like the animes where, it's some boring Japanese businessman,
Yeah.
and he dies and he's reincarnated in a fantasy world where he's like the most OP person in the world and just saves the whole planet.
Cool.
I kind of want to be that, except obviously being a girl, and then like I'm gonna get super hardcore canceled for this. But is it still a harem if it's all lesbians?
I love it. I like it. I think so. Fine, sure. There's probably maybe a slightly different word. We don't care. We'll roll with it.
Or would it be like polycule? Like,
let's go, dude. Oh my gosh, Ciara, it's fucking hilarious. I didn't see that one coming. I love it.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'll allow it. Ciara, last question here. I can't believe this here, but here we are. Ciara, if heaven and God exist, what would you like to hear them say when you arrive at the pearly gates, or your version of? Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You're always apologizing. I'm sorry that you have to apologize.
No, them. I want them to say I'm sorry. Okay. So like, I grew up in a hardcore Christian house. Yeah. I've actually had an exorcism performed on me.
Did it work?
And
joking.
You know, if heaven exists and I show up at the pearly gates, I would like for God to look at me and for her to just go, I'm sorry, it was just a joke.
Sorry about that.
Or something like that.
We were just having fun up here.
Yeah.
Sorry, you had to be at the butt end of all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Ciara Rayne, thank you so much for joining me today. We still have a little bit of time here. Folks, if you're not following Lady Raincloud on Twitch, there's Ciara's account. Also, you can follow Ciara on the Twitter, the Bird app. And there's that link. So, Ciara, as we wrap up here, I wanted to give you the opportunity to ask me any questions that you happen to have on your mind. If any. You don't have to. This is just optional. I want to give people the chance.
I know that, like, if I remember correctly, I could be wrong, but like the last time that we spoke, it had seemed like you weren't normally comfortable doing this.
Doing what?
Like interviewing people, talking to people.
I think I was just trying to figure out how I was going to do it. I was just like, what am I doing? I don't know what to do. I'm the kind of guy that learns from iterating. Sort of like I would point to your experience thinking about how you're going to run for office, and you sort of like you prod here, you get some feedback. You're like, I'll change direct. That's sort of what I do. I learn from learning. I learn from experience and doing and failing. So that was sort of me failing, but I was just like playing it out. And since then, I've realized that actually the interview thing is something that I would like to lean into, because I think it could help. I think it will help to build leftist unity, strength, and power. So that was something that my mentor sort of guided me towards, which was something that their mentor taught them. My mentor being Kenzo Shibata, his mentor being the Karen Lewis, the president of the CTU, when Chicago was shutting down 50 schools, and we struck for a week. We struck. I was a bad teacher. I was a music teacher. Give me a break. Okay, so I would learn of Kenzo Shibata at that time, but never really reach out to him until just about a year ago. And then I reached out and asked him, I'm like, hey, you're pretty based. I see you on the Twitter. I want to help you produce a show for free. And along the way, he would become my mentor, and he would teach me what Karen Lewis taught him, which is the three concepts. As you're out there being a leftist, try to ask yourself what you're doing. What are you doing, and the things that you're doing, are they building leftist unity? Are they building leftist power? And are they making us are those actions making us stronger? So this has really been my guiding force. I think at the center of that is love, really, right? But these three things have been my just sort of my guiding light at this moment, and I'm just trying to go towards that. And who knows? The show will probably evolve too, and we'll see it in a different form. Who knows, sooner than later? But I'm really enjoying this so far. It gives me an opportunity to have a format to get to know my friends, to share their experiences with my audience, and then of course with the YouTube audience, and then and again, like the heart of the interview, I think is a little bit about. Currently, I'm thinking this the heart of the interview. Like, how can we distill our life experiences and go, hey, this is the big thing that I'm working on. Here's what I would teach a younger version of myself. I'm going to be, paring down interviews and taking those parts of the interviews, and I think I'll have them in like a playlist. And I could see this being a valuable tool, in addition to all the other good things, which I think is happening. I'm not here being debatey, trying to show off people in a bad light. I want to show people in a good light, get to know folks, spread the good word, help us to help us to organize. And I know that you were running for office, and I think you expressed some disappointments that. I'm sorry if I'm speaking out of turn here, but I think it was fair to say that sort of a lack of support from the community, and I wanted to try to right that as well. And this sort of obviously just gives me a chance to do a lot of those same things at the same time. Yeah, I don't know. I think that sort of answers the question. It's an evolution. It'll continue to evolve, and I'm looking forward to it. And this has so far been great because I love this.
I think it's admirable.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah, it did.
Good.
Yeah, because
What
it
else?
was just kind of, me being curious what pulled you into wanting to do this. So,
Yeah. I mean, in general, my whole streaming like ideology is I want to promote and amplify voices other than my own that I believe are important and need to be heard by me and people like me, and coming into a new leftist space. And just also in general, just everyone needs to hear important voices. I don't want my channel to be about me talking my dumb ideas all fucking day, my straight white guy ideas, right? I want to be best. I want to be best.
You want to be better.
Hashtag be better. Yeah.
I wish a lot of people would want to be better.
You got to actively look for room. You got to actively be looking for where you can be better. I think that's part of it. And feel free to fail. Failing is fine. Fail. That's how I learn. I don't know how else to learn.
Well, I mean, failing, I think many different things, right? Like failing teaches us our limits. Failing teaches us how to learn. Failing teaches us perseverance. And I think the fear of failure teaches us courage, right? And we know that like courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the ability to push through fear, right? So even the courageous are afraid, right? Because being courageous doesn't mean that you're fearless. Because fear is a very powerful ally. It keeps you in check, right, from doing really stupid things. But then you don't let it like dominate and control you. So like, I think the fear of failure and then knowing how to respond after that. My father used to tell me that, and of course this is going to be gendered because that's just the way my dad was, but my father used to tell me that the measure of a man's character is how he handles failure. And that's something I've tried to live by my entire life. Like how do you handle failure as a person? Do you throw tantrums? Do you blame the world? And in some instances you can blame the world, but do you blame everybody else, or do you pick yourself up and dust yourself off and then try to learn from? So anyway.
Ciara, no, you like dropping the wisdom, and I'm nervous that you're going to charge me extra for that, because I was not expecting that. Oh my gosh, I can't afford that kind of wisdom. I can't pay for that kind of shit right there. That's good stuff. Love it. Dropping those knowledge bombs.
I have my moments.
No, you're great.
Couple years shy of 40, so I've learned a few things. So yeah.
Awesome.
Here and there. Sometimes I get it right. Mostly wrong, but sometimes I get it right.
Yeah. Ciara, do you have any questions for me here at the end here?
I wish that I did, but I'm just kind of I've only been up for like 2 hours,
You're perfect.
so you have to
This is
forgive me
fine.
for
No, this
not
is
having
exactly right.
not having anything to pull. Yeah.
I'm not worried. I really
Okay.
appreciate having you on, Ciara. This has been an absolute blast. The ability to get to know you more, to share your experience, to share your story, to share your tips and tricks, your life shortcuts, and and just for being so you just broke your heart open. You laid it all bare for us, and I appreciate that so very much. Your friendship means a lot to me, and I'm really looking forward to continuing this and learning more, and probably having you back on sometime down the road again. You're gonna have to keep giving me some updates. All right.
Will do. Love your face.
Let me know when you do have some updates on any of those projects, your game, or your run for office. Okay.
I will do.
Gosh, I love your damn face, Ciara. I guess that's that. We'll see you later.
That's it.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
All right. Hey, YouTube. You're watching a clip from my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/iDanSimpson, where you can follow for free and subscribe for only $5 a month. Thanks for watching.